morning, everyone. And welcome to the first Sunday service in the month of May. And I can't believe now we're already in May. Last month, I was pretty much gone from Sacramento. My wife and I had traveled to Australia and New Zealand for 3.5 weeks. And I was taking a look at the information after we got home. I couldn't believe that in order to complete the trip, we traveled 20,400 so many miles, over 50 hours, untold bus rides in order to complete our journey. And I have to say that I did enjoy my time in Australia, New Zealand. Just briefly in Australia, we landed in Melbourne, went up to Alice Springs and Uluru in central Australia, to Cairns in the northeast, back down south to Sydney, and then we traveled to Auckland, Rotorua, Christchurch, Queenstown, and we reversed it and saw a lot of things along the way. And just to give you an idea about the size of Australia, I was shocked when I compared the size of Australia to the United States. It's pretty similar. So if you can imagine starting your trip in Georgia, flying to Denver, Colorado, flying to Maine, and then coming back down to South Carolina, that was the distances and the directions of the journey that I had taken for Australia. And as I mentioned, I enjoyed my time there. The one thing I was disappointed in was the food. I don't know for those of you familiar with Australian food, but a couple of people on Team Vet Split had mentioned, you know, when you get to Australia, you need to try Vegemite. Vegemite? They go, yeah. And for our breakfasts, we get the small packet of Vegemite. And it should have given me a warning when it said that contains barley and wheat, but it doesn't tell you the whole story. And I can tell you from my own experience that I swear I thought I tasted salty black tar. It was bad for me. And I'll tell you though, if you want to lose weight, just spread this on bread in the morning and you won't be eating for a while. And the other thing that, what kind of surprised me because no one mentioned it, was that in the outback, Alice Springs, it's hot. In the fall, it's about between 95 to 100 degrees. And as soon as you step off the plane, you're attacked by all kinds of flies. And you need to wear a net around your head in order to protect yourself from the flies. And at first, we didn't know this. None of us had fly nets, so we step off, and as soon as you speak a word, the fly will go right in your mouth. So many. So it's just a warning, you know, when you go to the outback, just to bring a head net to protect yourself from all the flies. And also, as I mentioned, cuisine, the flies, they don't taste very good. But anyways, enough of that. And really to get to the Dharma message today. And as I had mentioned in March and January that I was recuperating from a bout of shingles, and while I was recuperating during the Christmas New Year's holiday, I received a wonderful surprise, a book entitled Tuesdays with Morris from a very kind and thoughtful friend. And my friend, if you're seeing me on the video today, I want to thank you very much for this precious gift. The book is a true story about a reunion between a retired university professor and his former student after being apart several years, and their discussions about life's great lessons. Once I finished the book, I was so moved that I had to read it again. This inspirational story is the basis for today's Dharma message. A young man named Mitch Albon graduated from Brandeis University in Waltham, Massachusetts in 1979. After the graduation ceremony, Mitch gave a special gift to his beloved professor, Morris Schwartz, to let him know how much the professor had touched Mitch during his time at the university. When they finally parted, Mitch had promised the professor that he would, quote, unquote, stay in touch with him. Mitch pursued his passion to play the piano as a career. After several years without success, Mitch returned to school and earned his master's degree in journalism. He would become a famous sports writer, working for various newspapers and freelancing for various magazines. And Mitch finally ended up working as a full-time sports writer for the Detroit Free Press. In 1994, 15 years later, as Mitch was flipping through the television channels, he heard Ted Koppel, host of ABC TV's Nightline program, say, "Who is Maury Schwartz?" And that segment was entitled, "A Professor's Final Course, His Own Death." While watching the program, Mitch discovered his old professor was dying from a terminal illness. When asked by Ted Koppel of his condition, Maury replied, quote, "I decided I'm going to live, or at least try to live, the way I want, with dignity, courage, humor, and composure," unquote. While narrating this journey, Maury would be crossing his final bridge between life and death. Now we're the professor's situation, and remembering the promise he made 15 years ago, Mitch decided to pay his respects to Maury. When they met, Maury hugged Mitch ever so tightly to show Mitch how much affection that still existed between the two, even after 15 years. Maury let Mitch know that he was dying. He was contemplating about the meaning of his life. After that visit, Mitch discovered the union workers for his newspaper. They were going on strike. Since the strike would last a while, Mitch wanted to continue his visits with Maury. Mitch felt guilty about not seeing the professor all these years, and also wanted to talk with his mentor about the unhappiness Mitch was experiencing, what he was feeling in his life. Those visits would turn out to be his final class with Professor Schwartz. No grades would be given. There would be oral exams during each visit. Mitch was expected to respond to questions and pose questions of his own regarding life experiences and views on various topics such as death, fear, aging, grief, marriage, family, society, forgiveness, and a meaningful life. After the end of these visits, Mitch was expected to produce a paper on what was discussed and learn about, quote-unquote, the meaning of life. Although Maury was not a Buddhist, many of the Buddhist teachings had influenced his life and are evident in the professor's thoughts regarding a few of the more important areas that affect human life as we experience. On love. When you are with people, believe in being fully present by looking them straight into their eyes and listening as if they were the only person in the world. You should be totally with the person by being fully focused on what is going on between the two of you. Love is so supremely important, so love each other or perish. On family, there is no foundation, no secure ground upon which people may stand together if not for family. If you do not have the support, love, caring, and concern that you get from a family, you do not have much at all. Spiritual security is knowing that your family will be there to watch over you, for neither money, fame, nor work will give you that foundation. On aging. Aging is not just decay, but it is also growth. As you grow, you will learn more. It is more than a negative that you are going to die. It is also a positive that you understand that you are going to die, which will allow you to live a better life, a more meaningful life, because you discovered what was good, true, and beautiful in your life. Finally, on death. Everyone knows that they're going to die, but nobody believes it. If we did, we would do things differently. Once you learn the eventuality of death and how to die, you will learn how to live by being more involved in your life. We are too involved in materialistic things that do not really satisfy our quest for happiness. The loving relationships we have, all things within the universe around us, we take these for granted. Appreciation gives you a different and more grateful perspective about the life that surrounds you. As Maury's life was approaching the critical stage, Maury's wife called Mitch to let him know that it was that time. Mitch's 14th visit would be his last and represented his finals with Professor Schwartz. I would now like to read passages from the chapter entitled, We Say Goodbye. Mitch entered the room pushing a smile upon his face. Maury's mouth was open, and his skin was pale and tight against his cheekbones. Maury exhaled, shut his eyes, and then smiled, the very effort seeming to tire him. My dear friend, Maury finally said. I am your friend, Maury said. I'm not so good today, Maury said. He pushed out another breath and forced a nod. Hold my hand, Maury said to Mitch. Mitch pulled down the covers and grasped his fingers. Maury, Mitch said softly. Coach, Maury corrected. And coach is a term of endearment between Mitch and Maury. Mitch had called Maury his coach. His coach for life, his coach for his university. Thus the name Coach. Coach, Mitch corrected. Maury corrected. You are a good soul. Touch me, Maury whispered. I felt like I had a pit in my throat, Mitch thought. Coach, I don't know how to say goodbye. Maury patted Mitch's hand weakly, keeping it on his chest. This is how we say goodbye, Maury said. Maury then looked Mitch right at him. Love you, Maury rasped. I love you too, Coach. No, you do. No, something else, Maury said. What else do you know? Mitch said. You always have. Mitch blinked back to tears, leaned in, and kissed him. Okay then, Mitch said, pulling away. Okay then, Maury whispered. And that was the last time Mitch would see Maury, and that was their goodbye. Soon after, Maury had passed away. Mitch attended Maury's funeral, and in a sense, this was Mitch's graduation ceremony after Maury's death, notes from Mitch's visits would be the basis for this work, for this book. And before Maury Schwartz died, he left with Mitch his version of the meaning of life, which I believe parallels Amida Buddha's teaching on how we should live. Quote, unquote. As long as we love each other and remember the feeling of love we had, we can die without ever really going away. All the love and memories created in your life will always be there. You will live on in the hearts and minds of everyone you have touched and nurtured while you lived. Death may end a life, but never a relationship. And finally, I'd like to leave with you a quote from Helen Keller, who was born without sight, without hearing. And I think it's a quote that best summarizes my message today in one line. And the quote is this: the best and most important things in life cannot be seen or touched, but is felt by the heart. Please join me in Tassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.